direct misfire, talking many war games. Bensome and Spoon are taking aim. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date.
Welcome to another direct Misfire Missive. Tonight with me, as always, I have my co-host Bensome.
Hello.
How you going, Ben?
Very well, thank you. A bit warm. You?
Yeah, it is a bit warm, which is a change. Also got a couple of special guests from the United States. We have Kris Kapsner. How you going, Kris?
Hello. Not so warm here.
And we also have Mark's Cox.
Mark's Cox.
Yeah, you got Mark's Cox. That's right. I'm here.
How you going, Mark?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Good.
So what's going on? What brings us together today?
Well, hopefully something that's bringing the whole global Kings of War community together, actually, the International Campaign Day.
Okay, International Campaign Day. There was one of those before, wasn't there? About mid-year?
Yeah. Let's see, July 9th. Did I get the date right there, Mark? I think it was July 9th.
I think it was July 9th.
We did the first one, and that was actually initially the plan was it was going to be a U.S. campaign day, and we had so much interest it kind of became an international campaign day, which made us. And I think I talked to you guys back then and encouraged you to join us, and you're like, well, the time difference is just crazy to try to do that, and so we've put together a truly global campaign this time with kind of a 24-hour campaign.
Sounds pretty good. How did the other one go?
Well, I think it went really well, especially for the first one. I mean, wouldn't you say, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. We were expecting way more snafus than happened, and having 30 different sites, and I think we had 33 or 36, and we had 30 participating that actually turned in scores. Having all of that happen, all in succession, all at the same time, it ran way smoother than we were expecting it to. So that's a credit to the people that were participating, definitely. And it was a nice surprise that something like that large scale, that disjointed, if you will, because obviously if we're not all in the same room, it's really hard to be on the same point.
Yeah.
For all that to happen successively and correctly was pretty surprising. I was happy with it.
Yeah, we had 140 players, 30 locations across 5 countries participating, and really didn't run into many glitches at all. And really the only glitch we sort of ran into was we had announced who was ahead for one of the rounds, because each round, depending on the scores and things, for good or evil, you're going to get a bonus going into the next round, depending on which side you're on. And we had announced a side being ahead, and then right after we announced that, some more scores were turned in, and that flipped
everything.
Yeah, and so we made the call, and we changed it to the way it was supposed to be if those scores had been reported on time, and that kind of messed things up, because some people, when they saw who was getting the bonuses, they just went off and started playing, and then others had already started deploying, and then it's like, oh wait, you got to change that and redeploy, and so it was a little bit messy that one moment. So we're changing that up this next time around. We have a cutoff time for scores to be turned in. If you turn in the scores after that, it just won't count towards the tally for announcing who's the going to be ahead going into the next round. So
Yep. Now, what were the results? Do you have them? How did it all turn out?
Well, it was really interesting, because we kept on having, I don't even have the results in front of me from that, but didn't we have good was edging evil most of the way through?
Yeah, it was pretty well in good's hands the entire time. I think it was the 3rd or 4th round where evil took a major spike the other way, and that offset things just a little bit, but good ended up running away with it there at the end.
Right, just like a movie. When you think the bad guys are going to win.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly.
So, just out of interest, what happens to all the data once the campaign's finished?
Well, we still have all of that data. It's saved on my computer someplace and things. We did make the announcement, some overall tallies and stuff in the on the Facebook page, but I think that's about as far as we went. I don't think we ever posted the final Google Doc anywhere for people to look at that. Mm-hmm. But that's basically what we're working off from is a Google Doc where each location will have one person that's signed up as quote unquote the leader. Basically, their job is just to make sure they input those results at the end of each round. Mm-hmm. And so we get their email address and invite them into that Google Doc, and then they just you guys play your games, and whoever wins, you tally those things, and you might have, if you have 6 players and you have 2 wins for evil and 1 win for good, that's what you put in, and then we just kind of quickly tabulate and announce a location leader and an overall leader, and depending on how things kind of go, we may have regional leaders also for the U.S. since we have more locations in the U.S. and multiple locations in each of our regions that we've broken apart for our U.S. Masters system. So that's how we had it designed this last time around. Mm-hmm. But working on some of those final details for what those bonuses will be and things, and we should have those announced on the Facebook page hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Mid to later December, we're planning on having that released.
Okay, sounds good. So what have we got at the moment for the next campaign day? So what are the details, when's it starting for our region and then the rest of the world, and what can we expect?
Yeah, you want to take that, Mark?
Sure. So we went to the furthest east that we know that there are populations of Kings of War players, which is New Zealand, which happens to not be part of this podcast. So we're starting off. Yeah, right. Misfire.
Yes, it was.
So we're starting at 2 p.m. New Zealand time on Saturday, and it runs all the way until 2 p.m. Sunday New Zealand time. Wherever your time zone is, you're going to break out from that time. So if you're an hour behind New Zealand, if you're 3 hours, whatever that number is. So there's a 24-hour period where we're doing that, and we broke that into 8-hour segments. So the first 8 hours is considered New Zealand, Australia.
Yep.
So from that 2 p.m. time
start
slot,
at noon.
Yeah, you guys would start at noon. So you would run from noon to 8 p.m. The first game is an hour long, 1,000 points, 4x4 board, 30-minute break. The next game, 1,500 points, 90 minutes, 30-minute break. The next game, 2,000 points, 2 hours, so 120 minutes, 30-minute break. Last game is 1,500 points for 90 minutes, and then a 30-minute break. Okay. And then you go into the 8-hour slot that the UK picks up and starts running with, which I think that's 10 a.m. their time. So they do the exact same thing. So all 4 games are 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 1,500. They're going to be different games from, game 1A to game 3A, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So the scenarios are all going to be different, but you're going to have basically 12 different games happening in 24 hours, and each successive game, depending on who's ahead, good or evil, there are going to be bonuses happening. Mm-hmm. So you are going to impact, like when you guys get done at 8 o'clock at night, if you assume, hey, we're not going to play into 10 o'clock or midnight, you're going to impact where the UK guys pick up and start running. And then the next day, if you wake up the next morning and you're like, hey, I feel like playing some Kings of War on Sunday, you can actually participate still, and your scores will still count towards the overall tabulation. So
right, you'd be impacting U.S. and Canadian games, so to speak, if you got up the next day and started playing again.
That's the real cool thing is, like, you have the option of, like, I only feel like playing 2 games today and maybe 2 games tomorrow. Well, that still impacts, so you can still do that. There's no set, like, well, you guys are only in this first 8-hour time block. You can only count here.
Right.
You can count whenever. So you can take a game at 2 o'clock. You can take a game at 2 in the morning, and you can take a game at 10 a.m. the next day, and it will all still count.
Sounds pretty cool.
So it's as open and viable as you want it to be. But it runs for a 24-hour period, and we're tracking it the entire way and announcing winners all the way through.
Who's going to stay up for 24 hours to do that? Who's got that lovely job?
You guys are.
That's actually the interesting part, because if we do this right and we have the right sort of management over it, as long as you've got the right person in a position to click the button, it should be able to take over. Now,
yeah,
I'm a late guy. I like to stay up late, so I don't mind covering that. Kris, I notice you like to get up early, so I think between the two of us, we could probably split it if we really needed to.
Right.
But I'm thinking that with the location leads and the regional leads that we're going to put in place, that we'll have enough coverage to be able to legitimately call what the next bonus is for each round for that 24-hour period.
Okay, good. That's not too bad. It's like shift work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know the really crazy thing is, like, the way we've set this up, it's not complicated. You go, well, good had 29 wins, evil had 26 wins. All right, well, good gets the bonus. Like, it's really that simple of
right.
looking at the numbers and going, here's where it is.
So, do we know what the bonuses are? Are you able to give us an example?
That'll be part of the announcement that comes out in December here.
Okay.
We're still finalizing. We have most of it pulled together as far as it's going to be a storyline that's going to be based off from our last storyline that we started for the last one. Our goal is to kind of build off from that storyline and build towards the Mantic global campaign that they're running this upcoming summer. And so the 12 scenarios will be kind of telling a storyline, and they'll all be different scenarios and things like that. And the bonuses will be all sort of different. We haven't finalized all of that, but it will be coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So mid to late December, we should have that out.
Okay, cool. So this leads directly into the Mantic campaign.
If everything goes right.
If
yes.
everything goes right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we've been in communication with them. We've talked to them a bit. I honestly don't know what their opinion is of the storyline that we started. But we have them on board. They're excited about it, and they're running a location at their headquarters for this. And they actually Matt Gilbert had actually suggested that we work with them on our third international campaign day to have that be perhaps the climax to the global campaign.
Yep.
So we're going to be working with them on the third one, and I don't know. It's just exciting to see it kind of grow.
So how does someone join in?
Great question. So basically, all you have to do is you can find that Facebook page. It's the US KOW International Campaign Day. Mark Cox and I are all over that. And if you PM either one of us in Facebook or shoot us an email, but PM in Facebook seems to work real well. Just send us your name, your email address, so that we can invite you into that Google Doc. And then basically just send us your email address, your name, and your location. And that's pretty much all we need. And then we shoot you the invite to the Google Doc so that you can sign in and, tabulate the scores.
Yep.
And really, you can be as small as just 2 people in your house playing this to take part. You don't organize something at a game store, or something like that.
And you don't need to play the same army each game. You can mix it up, I'm assuming?
You can do whatever you would like to do.
Yeah.
All we ask is that you have to have an even number of good and evil. So even if it's just 2 of you and you both play evil armies, someone's going to have to say I'm good for the day. And that way we need things to be reported evenly between good and evil. So our recommendation is if you have 6 players at a location and you have 3 evils and 2 neutrals and a good, well then you bump those 2 neutrals to good and so you have an even number. Or if you have way too many good, then you bump somebody to evil. But just make sure you have an even number of both.
Okay. Now, you're talking about locations before and getting organized. How do people go about reporting or wanting to become leaders for their area?
Sure. Yep. Just send us that message and say I'm wanting to lead a location in this town, and you can tell us the game store, or you don't have to. It's not that big of a deal, though we are keeping track of that if people are telling us they're playing at a certain game store. But it can be in, like we said, it could be in your garage or basement or in your house, wherever you want to set up and play, knock yourselves out. We also don't have any requirements as far as what comp you use or anything like that. Yeah. It's play your brand of Kings of War. The idea of this is we just want to bring people together as an international community and playing all at the same time and interactively. So if you like Clash of Kings comp, use it. If you don't use it. If you're 2 new players and all you have are starter boxes each and you're like at about 1,000 points each, play 1,000 points the whole way. We don't really care. It's more about just getting people all playing Kings of War at the same time.
Okay, cool. I also read on the Facebook page that people are encouraged to create their own character. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a new wrinkle that Kris came up with in the off season, and it's got a lot of potential. I think it, for the people that have critiques or whatever their thoughts are on Kings of War not maybe having enough flavor, being able to make your own character, I think that's a great little additive that Kris has come up with. And Kris, feel free to throw that out there, whatever your details are on it. It definitely garners attention.
Sure. Well, it's a way you can make your own character to be your commander for your forces. So when we say you're playing 1,000 points or 1,500 points, 2,000 points, etc., you build your army list to that size, and then you're adding this commander to it. So it's an additional character on top of your regular force.
Okay.
And the custom living legend hero is going to have to bring they stay the same for the duration of the campaign. There may be some bonuses they collect over the course of the campaign, but they stay the same. So when you start out, you have to pick a hero choice from your main force, not from an ally or something, but from your main force. Yeah. And you can add in any normal upgrades that character has, as well as up to 2 artifact choices that become a unique artifact for that living legend, purchased at their normal artifact cost. And the total of that cannot exceed 200 points. Then on top of that, for free, at no cost, you get to increase 1 stat of the stat line by 1 point. So to a maximum of defense 6+, or a minimum, I guess, range or melee stat down to 2+. If you choose nerve, it would bump up both the waiver and the route value by 1. But that's a free adjustment to the stat line for the character, and then that becomes your named living legend commander for your force.
Juicy. I can think of lots of different characters that I want to include now.
Oh yeah, there are some great ideas already being thrown out on the Facebook page of how to break that. But
and when he first came up with that, I go, I was immediately in tournament player mode. I go, oh my God, Kris, people are gonna break the shit out of this. And he's like, it's a campaign, man. And I go, oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
what
is
does
a
it matter?
campaign. It doesn't matter. It's not like we're getting trophies or anything. Right. Good call. Let's do it.
Yeah. So that 200 points, that character's there in the 1,000-point game as well, unless you think it might be a bit unfair.
So it would be basically you're playing a 1,200-point list.
Okay,
so it's 1,000-point regular army, and then you're adding your commander on top of that.
Yeah, my guy's going to be so cool.
You just hear the cogs just turning, like all these ideas. Well, if I give him this and then I do that, and I.
Yeah. Is there anything else
Mark
that
shot
you
me
need?
over the Facebook link. Basically, it's facebook.com/groups. It's US KOW Campaign Day. So if you want to search for that, if you just search KOW Campaign Day, I'm sure it'll be the only thing that basically pops up. But
and we'll also have
you can
the link
find us there.
The show notes.
And we can pin it on our Facebook page.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Keen to join in on this one.
Yeah, I think the last one was at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for us.
Yeah,
we
and we also had a tournament
that
that
crazy early.
That's a bit much.
Yeah. And I think it was you guys were talking about a tournament or something going on that weekend too. For you
Yeah,
guys.
same day. Yeah, in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You wanted to say someone in Australia had already joined up, correct?
Oh yeah, Mark. What was that location that had already signed up in Australia?
Are you gonna make me mispronounce it? All right, it was Canberra.
That's it. Like a true Aussie.
Boom.
Brah. Australia. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Tasman Stacy signed up, so he is the location lead in Canberra.
Canberra.
Brah, you want some beers, brah?
That's it.
Some Keystone Lights?
And we're hoping for at least a handful of locations in that time zone to kick things off. So definitely try to spread the word over there. And if you guys know of any Pathfinders and things like that for Mantic, reach out to them and ask them to get some locations going. Because honestly, we're pretty disconnected from those guys, all of you guys over there, and it's so hard to know. It's a lot easier for Mark and I to connect to people in the U.S. that we've played in tournaments with, or we at least know friends of friends and things like that, and suddenly it's kind of a domino effect. But it's so hard to get things rolling when we just don't know who to contact in an area. So
yeah, that's fair enough. But I'm sure we'll be able to drum up a lot of support for this. I think there's a lot of people that are interested. They're just not sure how to get started or the exact details. So once this goes up, we should see an influx of players signing up, I would think.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're hoping. I mean, we tried to make this as easy on a location lead as possible, where it's like all you got to do is be able to sign in. So you need Wi-Fi, update a Google Doc, and that's it. Like that's literally all we're asking these people to do at these various sites. Because we're giving out the pack early, so everybody knows the scenarios, everybody knows the rules. The sites decide if they want to use CoK or whatever pack that they want to use. It literally is just like sign in, give me your 3 wins, your 2 losses, and like here's your bonuses.
Yeah.
Tell that to your players. Like we're trying to make that as easy as possible. A lot of people get caught up in, location lead, so I got to run a tournament. Like, well, you're not really running the tournament. You're just kind of facilitating the games and moving the information from one side to the other.
Yeah, just using the internet for 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. Seriously, like it's
Right.
it really is easy. It's super easy.
And it's a lot of fun, actually. It's like you're watching a scoreboard.
Right?
You go to,
oh my god, that's the best part.
Oh, it was so fun because you're just wondering. We know these guys are going to report, and who knows? They could swing the difference here between good and evil. And I had players crowding around my computer just watching,
waiting the numbers like pile in. Yeah, man.
Sounds like an event in itself.
Right.
Was there anything else that you wanted to chat about?
Before you guys go, do you want to put in a plug for both your podcasts?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Mark. You can go first.
Oh, well, let me finish my beer.
So, Mark, what are you drinking and what are you drinking out of?
You guys. So I am drinking a Shiner Bock out of a 32-inch tall little growler. Growler. Yeah, the UK guys do not like that word.
Yeah, I've heard that on another podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, man.
Williams could not stop laughing when he was over
he
here.
Every time. I'm gonna have to drink it out of it when he comes out for Lone Wolf. Anyway, my name is Mark Cox, and I am a member of the Beer Phase podcast, and we talk a lot about Kings of War, but we talk a lot about beer too. A lot of fun. 3 TOs in Texas, so you're gonna get a lot of fun out of that. Kris, what are you running?
Well, I have the Lake SWAT Fantasy Squad podcast. My co-TO is Michelle Olson. You may also know her on YouTube as Oasis Rising. She's a fantastic painter and sculptor and just all-around hobbyist. So she raises the bar for me on there. And we just like to bring in guests from different tournaments and events that we go to and things like that. Talk a little hobby. We have a good hobby one coming up here this next time around, and just bring in a voice to the Midwest, I guess, for the tournament scene up here for Kings of War. And I'm from northern Minnesota myself.
Okay, cool. All right, I think we'll leave it there. Mark and Kris, thanks for joining us in the afternoon or evening over there.
Sorry for butchering your name, Mark.
Oh, you can talk about my cock wherever you want, man. It's fine.
All right, we'll get out of here.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for coming
Derailed. Love it.
on.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Cheers.
Thank y'all.
We'll be back after this short break. And we're back, and now we've got a couple of friends joining us. We have Matt, C, and Tasman from the CanCon organisation team. That's what I'm going to call you.
Hello, Ben and Spoon. Yes, we are the CanCon TOs. Let's go with that.
Good-o. How's things?
Well, it's been really hot today. To be honest, it's kind of the worst. Super hot and humid, and struggling with the good old dress code in Canberra, shirt and tie. Who's decided that was a good idea? But anyway.
Yeah, I'm melting like the Wicked Witch of the West, to be honest.
Yeah. What do you suggest? Is it going to be? It'll be hot, I'm assuming, in Canberra for CanCon. I've never been to CanCon. Should we be prepared?
Yeah, well there's one essential, and that's deodorant. Please. Actually, I'm going to have to do that in the next update of the pack. It used to be in the old Warhammer packs. Bring deodorant, please.
Well, imagine a giant warehouse with maybe 5,000 nerds. And I don't think I'm even exaggerating on the numbers there.
No.
They have a lot of people in the room. So yeah, it gets...
aromatic.
Yes, that's it. That's the word.
Fragrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Quite a strong mouthfeel, to be honest.
We'll kick on. We'll get you guys to introduce yourselves and give us a bit of a brief background on your gaming history. Why you got into Kings of War, maybe?
Okay, so, yep, I'm Matt. So I'll be running the show on the day. Tas is going to be playing. In terms of a gaming background, I guess I've got pretty much zero chops when it comes to gaming. Although I did notice after our last tournament, I have rocketed from 50th to 24th in the rankings, so pretty sensational.
Hey.
But that's only, I think, because one game's been played recently, or one tournament, so it won't take long to be pushed back down.
Right.
Although Tas does his best to take fluffy armies and keep pushing everyone else back up, so yeah, we're all safe from him. So I actually only recently got back into the hobby, probably start of last year, back into Warhammer 8th edition just before the end, and I'd only been back playing that for a little while, and then once that bit the dust, our local gaming group moved more into Kings of War, and I fell in love with that, and as some drifted away to other things, I still stayed with Kings of War and loved the rule set and the ease of pick up and play anyway, obviously. Not necessarily easy to master. And so I've stayed with it. And when it came to looking for someone to run Kings of War at CanCon and then what became Clash of Kings Australia, a few of us got together and started talking about who would do it. And I ended up putting my hand up with Tas to help out.
Okay. Just out of interest, what armies or army are you playing at the moment?
I've played elves mostly. I'm in the middle of building dwarves.
Gamey mongrel.
Lots of organ guns. And I've got a nature army, and I've got, I haven't played with it, but I've got enough to do an undead army as well.
Yeah, nice.
But primarily elves and dwarves so far.
Right, okay.
And what sort of dwarves are you using, Matt?
Skyball. Yeah, good
Yeah.
plug for the sponsor straight up. So pretty much everything is pretty much everything in the army's Skybore, except they don't do artillery really. So the artillery's not Skybore.
Right.
I'm really surprised your wife let you remortgage the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cyborg is not cheap.
No, it's not. I managed to get her around that in a couple of ways, namely
Tax evasion.
Now, is this something that an
yeah. I'm
employee...
not going to expand on what you just said, Ben. Let's just say sometimes it helps to own your own business.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff. So as far as my history goes, I'm also new to tabletop wargaming, I guess. I've been a very long time gamer, primarily in role-playing games. So I'm Dungeon Master and Game Master for a lot of systems, and that's sort of the thing that I've been doing the most of in the last, coming up to 15 years now. But last CanCon, I saw Kings of War played at CanCon, and a mate of mine was super excited about it, so I thought I'd jump right in and got into it. I'd done a little bit of painting and stuff in the past, like I painted my Space Hulk set, like 60 years ago now, and I did like the dip method, but like I didn't know what I was doing, so I like actually dipped them in the varnish. And so yeah, they look like you would imagine, so I've got like
Nice.
$200 worth of plastic covered in, like about 3 mils
Liquid
of
brown.
varnish. Yeah, it's great. It's great. So yeah, going for, they're supposed to be blood angels, but they look more like, I don't know, is there a brown Space Marine chapter? Because that's what they look like.
Brown angels. I don't know.
Yeah, the brown angels. The starfish. But anyway, no. So since coming up on 10 months now, I guess, I managed to pick up a second-hand Empire army that I painted up, and then I've gotten into Trident Realms. My thing is I like to play armies that no one else plays.
Yep.
However, I'm realizing that there is generally a reason why no one else plays them.
Yeah.
And that's because it's really easy to lose and bad with them. I mean, Trident Realms would be great if everyone was playing really like melee-focused armies, like lots of orcs and stuff, but no one is. So they're very much in this current meta, they're the answer to a question nobody's asking.
Right.
But that's okay. They look cool.
Personally, I just think he
That's the
likes
most
wooden
important
spoons.
Well, I tell a lie. I've won 2 wooden spoons recently. So
All right. We'll jump into it then. Let's get a few event details for CanCon. When is it, and how are you holding it? What's happening on the day, or days rather?
Okay, so it's being run in the end of January. So we call it the Australia Day long weekend, although this year Australia Day is on the Thursday and the actual tournament is on the Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, 28th and 29th of January. It's at the Epic, so the exhibition park in Canberra. Epic, get it? So that's just the big convention centre in Canberra.
Yep.
And I don't think we've been assigned which hall we're in yet, have we? But I'm assuming we're just going to be in the big main wargaming hall and not in the cool board gaming hall.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we'll be in the place with no air conditioning, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's fine as long as you bring water and hydrate. You have to treat it like an endurance event.
Yeah.
Load up.
Yeah.
And make sure you're hydrated. A couple days before. If you're feeling thirsty, you're already dehydrated. All this sort of stuff. But yes,
for that reason, it's actually tougher than Masters. Because you've got the endurance factor.
Yes. And there's a whole lot more, and this is weird. Okay, so the tables are 6 by 4 foot rather than like 8 by 4 foot, and so you have to put all of your stuff on the ground, and so there's like that extra work, doing a lot more good mornings, sort of bending over and picking up your arms. So yeah, something you might want to like chuck in extra resistance work into your weights routine, to handle the constant the constant lumbar flexion.
But I guess in terms of numbers, technically we don't have a limit, except being a convention, when tickets are sold out across all symptoms, they're gone. So at the moment we're sitting at 45 have signed up, which is awesome. I'd love to get to 60 at least. Make it, bigger the better. But really, and we aren't given a good idea of what the total number of tickets are. I mean, at the moment we're easily the highest registered fantasy tabletop war game at CanCon at the moment. But,
non-skirmish fantasy.
Non-skirmish. Oh, I think we're beating the skirmish guys.
No, I was just joking.
Yeah. Even they have got surprisingly good numbers though. But yeah, so we don't really have a good idea of when it will sell out. So the quicker you sign up, the better.
How many did you get last year, just out of interest?
I think from memory about 56 were signed up, and I think about 46 or 48 showed up on the day. So we definitely want to top that. I mean, I think last year really could fly on the back of the old system going the way of the dodo. Whereas I think we've got this year a lot of genuine Kings of War players. Like most of the signees are guys that I know regularly play the game and are really keen to keep playing.
Right. Okay. So how many points, scenarios, and what are you doing for terrain on tables?
Well, it's 2,000 points. We're playing with the Clash of Kings comp pack. So a couple of stat changes to your Undead Pharaohs, Defense 5 instead of Defense 6. But and you're not allowed to take more than 3 of any hero or war engine. So no spamming 9 goblin war trombones or anything like that. Which apparently was a list last CanCon, which there was someone who played goblins with a bunch of war trombones wizards. But anyway, you can only have 3 of them under this compact, and allies cannot be given magic items. But the big gameplay change is the way fly works. If you are disordered, so if you take any damage in melee combat, you cannot fly, and you lose nimble as well. So yeah, that really does change the way. It's easier to pin down flyers. Or if you play Trident Realms and bring the Siren, you can use her spell to give people a ranged disorder, which is really nice.
Yeah, very good ability, that one.
Yes, but I'll let Matt talk about the scenarios.
So the scenarios, basically we've added push and control, which are the 2 new scenarios, and they're outlined in the pack for the tournament. And we've dropped 7 games, 4 games day 1, 3 games day 2. And we've dropped the 2 scenarios that involve kill, so kill and pillage. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I thought we were doing kill and pillage on game 7.
No, kill and pillage is still in there. Sorry, we've only dropped kill. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sponsorship. I heard you've got quite a few sponsors helping out.
Now, I'm going to let Matt talk about this because this has been 100% Matt. Actually, no, I think I sorted out the Griffin one, but almost 100% this is Matt's doing, and he's done an amazing amount of work on this.
Indeed.
They don't call me Golden Tongue for no reason,
Yeah, but it's not that reason.
All right, okay. We're talking about sponsors. So, of course, now if you've been following on Facebook or on Wargamer, I've been trying to do some videos as the sponsorship stuff comes in, and the latest one was from Mantic. So Ronnie sent over a bit of a care package that involves a bit of Kings of War stuff, as well as some things from their other game systems like Warpath and Dead Zone. Ben Hampson from The Gaming Guy, he's been awesome. He's been helping us do a lot of background work with setting up, and he donated our early entry prize that Mark from Canberra actually won. I guarantee that was not rigged. I drew it in front of impartial judges at Castle Assault, including Ben. Angry Artists, so they're that's Aris from the Queensland Gaming Group, and he does some MDF and laser terrain, and what I've done with him is he's going to donate some terrain, and I've also put some of the sponsorship money towards getting everyone something that I'm going to do a video for soon. Mighty Ape have been giving us some vouchers and a code that you might have seen online. So anyone purchasing through Mighty Ape, 5% goes back to allow me to buy stuff for Clash of Kings if we need it, and also they'll probably do some price support. Black Cultist and 3D6 from local, and Black Cultist is probably going to do quite a few boxes actually of miniatures that we haven't got yet. Skyball's the really big one, so we probably got over $500 worth of stuff from Skyball, which is amazing. If you haven't seen the video from that, check that out, because there's a few big miniatures, plenty of terrain and basing stuff as well. They were really, really generous. Deep Cut Gaming Mats sent us a mat. I've done the video for that. Mon Miniatures, I'm not sure what they're sending yet. I know that they're sending us something. Warlord sending us a few box sets of things, probably the historical nature. Slave to Gaming are doing a bunch of their samurai swordsmen, so he sent us one for everyone, which is fantastic, and sent us a whole bunch for the hobby prize.
They're the undead ones, aren't they?
Yeah, the undead, samurai skeletons. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, nice.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome little models, and a bunch of dice and things as well. Griffin Metal Mounting, they're doing some basing stuff for us. Fireforge, if you've seen their new Pegasus Knights, I understand we're going to be getting a few of those for the lovers of what are they called in this game? Brotherhood.
Order of the Forsaken.
The Order of the Forsaken. And I think they're sending their Burn and Loot starter kit as well, which has a whole bunch of cavalry and infantry models. Mercia Miniatures are doing a discount voucher for everyone, and some bigger discount vouchers for the top three. And Cigar Box Battle through Drew, a guy in our local community, he's bought some mats, and they're also donating a mat. So, we're going to have heaps of stuff to give away.
Nice.
Absolutely bucket load of stuff.
Masses, yeah. Well, at least, everyone's getting stuff. The Skyball, they sent heaps of individual models, so I'm planning on hopefully being able to just roam around giving out hobby prizes. We're going to have something really good for the poor bugger that rolls the most double ones on the day. Ronnie sent a bit of stuff for the person that comes last. So, no one's going to miss out.
That's nice.
Yeah. He definitely wants to look out for the person that comes last. So, Tas is set.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? The funny thing is I try really hard at this game. Like, I read stuff and I play this like every week, and I still get wooden spoons. It is just, if I just turned up and it wasn't a thing that I, tried at and I didn't care, but I do care. But yes,
that makes it even worse.
Yeah, it really does, and especially these guys, they rub it in. It's such a hostile environment, the local scene. Oh my gosh.
I'll see you on the bottom table, game 2 then, Tassie.
Yeah. Yeah, probably with this. We're using the 20-0 scoring system. For anyone who's not familiar with that, you get 15 points for a win and 5 points for a loss, 10 each for a draw, and then it's adjusted based on attrition. So in the rare scenario where someone won the scenario but lost most of their army, it might end up being something like a 13-7, but typically what it'll end up being is something like a 17-3.
Yeah.
Big swings.
Spoon, are you expecting to be down there because you're going to grudge Ben to try and get your second win ever? Game 1? Yeah, and then get 20. Yeah.
I'll play him enough.
Yes. On that, we do allow grudges. So if, for whatever reason, the guy that you play regularly against, you want to travel interstate and play him again, you can set that up.
But that's probably while we're on that, actually. So I'm going to make every effort. So anyone that contacts me beforehand, the tournament software that we'll be using will allow me to not pair up people that regularly play each other. So besides grudges, we'll try and get people playing different people round 1. And also on the scoring system, I guess. So a lot of this pack, we're aware, there's a bit of back and forth on what people like wins to be or how things should be divided, but there is some limitation on what we're allowed, given that it's an official Clash of Kings Australia, so we're using as a strong basis the Clash of Kings UK pack. So I mean they're open to some changes, but we've tried to keep it pretty original as they've had it.
I think there was a rule in there, wasn't it, that you weren't allowed to brush your teeth ever.
Yeah.
The UK guys, I think, insisted on that one.
Yeah. Well, that no one actually had to read that. They were just doing it anyway. So
Nice.
You've got some guidelines.
Sorry, I was just going to get it. Shush. How do you get the Clash of Kings name? So we went from just CanCon Fantasy to Clash of Kings. How did that happen?
I can't remember if that was actually my idea or Ken from Queensland's idea. I have a feeling it might have been Ken's. So
it was Ken's idea, but you went and did it.
Yeah, I think so. Ken had the idea. So what originally happened is we found out that Andrew, that ran CanCon earlier this year in January, wasn't going to do it again. And a bunch of us got together and said, we really think that CanCon has to happen for the good of the tournament scene for Kings of War in Australia, given it's always been a bit of a premier fantasy tournament. And then just as we were nutting it out, I think Ken threw it up in the air that why don't we make it the official Clash of Kings Australia, like they've got in the UK. And so then we just contacted Mantic, literally, just emailed them and said, hey, we're going to do this. Last year it was, at that time in January, because version 2 hadn't been out long, CanCon last year was the biggest Kings of War tournament in the world. Lone Wolf overdid it not long after, I think. And is it the French have really gone ballistic for it and did a really big one? But, at that point it was quite big. So we just wrote to Ronnie and said, look, what do you think about us having this name? And he said, go for it.
Yeah, cool.
Good.
Yeah, you'll find most of Matt's technique is just asking people things, and it works really well.
Well, you don't get if you don't ask, so.
Exactly. I've gotten really used to holding my hands out.
Actually, one thing, with the tournament software that we're using, Matt, will people need to pre-register or anything like that?
As long as so there's a guy who does it all for free. As long as you can get the update off the ground, ideally it will be like Tournament Overlord was to us, and you'll be able to register online, and which would mean that you'll be able to submit your results electronically on the day.
Right.
Cool.
But I probably won't know that till later this month, maybe start of January.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
We'll email all the registered attendees anyway with the details.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got some guidelines for painting prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you want to go over?
For the regular painting prizes, but I'm really passionate about the painting side of things. Like that's the only thing I'll ever get prizes for. Let's put it that way. And I'd really, encouraging people to do things like bring along display boards and things like that. But we will be having an armies on parade time during lunch on the first day, I think. So that'll be a time for everyone, even if they haven't bought a display board, to be able to set up their armies, in a way that people can sort of look at them and appreciate them to their fullest sort of extent. It's funny with this hobby, like people spend hundreds of hours painting stuff, and then it's actually really hard to get a look at it. Because most of the time it'll be crammed in a tray, or they'll be playing with it. And so, just having a discrete time set apart so people can actually sort of, arrange them in some sort of way. And display boards would be awesome if people are going to be doing that. I am, and I'd like not to be the only one.
I'm going
see how we go.
Aim to get a board done for mine.
Nice.
Yeah, and look, regarding them.
Enough time.
There's obviously the open painting prizes, which everyone that has a fully painted army with 3 colours and based is eligible for, and then there's the Mantic painting prize, which I spoke to you about it a bit, Ben, but I talked to Mantic and I asked, given that there's however many ridiculous amount of armies now. They had it set at greater than 90% Mantic models, and I asked about relaxing it a bit. They were okay with that. So we've gone for greater than 80% Mantic models and or regiments, units, whatever's the greater. And so if someone's got that majority Mantic, then they'll qualify to be able to take out the Mantic award as well. So going for the Mantic award doesn't exclude you from the open painting prizes.
Right. Okay.
Okay, righto. Yep.
Cool.
So you could take the double, Ben.
Oh. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
There are some crazy
I don't want to take away
painters out there.
an award from Tas.
Mate, the only
Don't worry, I'll get
award
one
I'll be
all day,
getting
so
for my
you'll be zero.
painting. Thanks, man. I'll get the pity prizes and things like that. Like, I enjoy painting. It's what I'm good at. But no, compared to I don't know if you've seen Oddie and Hobbies does post some stuff up on his blog and Facebook. He's doing these Night Stalker armies with like a swamp basing theme with like all resin swamps and stuff, and it just looks amazing. There's Night Stalkers actually seem to be really attracting the real hobby guys.
Yeah, got a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
with no models released for it.
Yeah, well, a lot of green stuffing and things like that. So yeah, there's another guy, Jules, up in Canberra, who's he did some fantastically painted Night Stalkers for the Sydney Gaming Championship. So it'll be really interesting to see what turns up for CanCon.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially the multi-basing aspect of it, I think, just gives you so much freedom when it comes to when it's the hobby side
to make mini dioramas if you need.
Yeah.
And seen some amazing stuff over in the UK as well. The occasional US one of the really cool looking multi-based units.
Yeah, there was another.
So it should be good. Hopefully everyone else can do the same.
There's a really interesting one where the guy had his units in buildings. So he had like a large infantry horde, and it was like a ruined building with the guys on like the ground and second level, and it was actually kind of problematic because it looked a lot like a piece of terrain that he was moving around.
Right, yeah.
And he could physically hide units behind it, and unless you were constantly sort of walking around the table, you wouldn't see it. Not that I'm implying that the player did that on purpose, but it could be one of those things where you have like a character or something behind your infantry horde, and you don't realise that they're there until later. But anyway, people can go overboard. But no, it's certainly it's why I really like Kings of War, is the multi-basing.
And my multi-based dwarves will make an appearance at Kings of War, but they'll be used by Sammy Mahmood, who's from the Rules Committee, who's coming. He's just moved to Australia, somewhere in Victoria, I think. But he's coming up and staying with me, and he'll probably run my dwarves because he won't have long been in the country. So I'm hoping to do some multi-basing. Got a 3D printer coming, which is interesting. So I'm hoping to print up some cool multi-bases.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to cover for CanCon, details-wise? Cost?
Cost is $60, I think, Tas. Is that right?
Yeah, $60 through the CanCon website.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, we've got the website, which is www.clashofkingsau.com. The idea after CanCon is, given that I've got the I don't know, whatever you call it, the domain or whatever it is, done already, that hopefully after that we'll turn it into a bit more of just a Kings of War Australia website. Maybe even turn it into a bit of because the Kings of War resource site has basically stopped now, so maybe even turn it into a bit of that, try and get some more articles and things going on it.
Cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting seeing some more tactics articles and things like that. Like, I would be really interested to read something from Tracy about how he managed to use 4 infantry hordes. I found 2 of them hard enough to not run into each other. 4 is just absurd.
Yeah.
I understand he had the 3 big flyers and stuff. So I'm talking about these lists that he took to Masters.
Yeah.
But he had 3 flying monsters and 4 infantry hordes, which I would really like to work out how he did it.
Yeah. But I guess the main thing for CanCon is we just want people to get signed up now. So 45 is a good start. By Christmas it'd be awesome to have cracked 50, be on our way to 60. But get signed up, because I have no idea when it will actually sell out. And be guaranteed that everyone is going to have a good time. I'm currently working on what Saturday night will look like. So, because I know, Spoon, you're a big fan of the in between days antics. So, love a bit of get together. So I'm trying to find somewhere where we might be able to do that.
Don't
Nice and
disappoint.
close to. Yeah.
That
Pressure's
sounds like
on.
a threat.
All right. Okay. All right. Looks like I might actually have to fork out for a deposit then, just to keep Spoon happy. I don't want to get bagged on direct Misfire after the event. Saturday night was just rubbish.
Never pick a fight with a guy with his own broadcast publication, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what's the audio equivalent of buying ink by the barrel. I don't know.
All right. If there's nothing else to go over, maybe lists that you're thinking about taking to CanCon.
Well, mine's pretty set that Sammy will be taking. I've just got to remember what it is off the top of my head. So it's 2 regiments of the Defence 6 guys.
Iron Guard.
Iron Guard, thank you. A horde of the... I'm just going to describe what they do, and Taz can do the names for me. The Crushing 2 guys. Shield Breakers.
Shield Breakers.
Thank you. And they've got an elite item. Then I've got 2 regiments of Brock Riders, 1 with Haste, 1 with Pathfinder. 2 troops of Berserkers, 1 with Fire Oil. 3 Organ Guns and a Warsmith. Very Egalax, who's very nice. And a Brock Lord. A Berserker Brock Lord. That's it, isn't it, Taz?
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds
Lots
about
of
right.
that.
So it's very Agalax. Is that that's the Berserker King?
Yeah.
mod?
Yeah.
Think
Taz
so.
is my details man. Yeah, so he's actually pretty good. As long as you
standing in
don't,
front of 3.
yeah, as long as you don't push Seri out in front, he can do a good amount of damage because he's a large cav. He's got 10 attacks, vicious and elite. You know, he goes pretty well.
Pretty beefcake.
Yeah.
Fearless 19.
Yes, quite.
So 3 Organ Guns and a Warsmith. So that's 15 shots each, hitting on 5s, but with elite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yuck. Gross.
Yeah.
I can do
And
3
2
cannons
regiments with
instead.
Rock Riders as well.
Oh, I'd rather 3 cannons, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
They actually, to be honest, like when we've
Flame
played them, the
belchers.
organ guns don't do that much.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's because you're rubbish.
Hey, I'm not playing them. No one can point the finger at me.
Yeah. So you just got to do the big hospital pass to the rules committee guy who's come to a new country, trying to make new friends, and he
Sammy
gets
can
like a
choose
filthy
to
list.
face the organ guns towards the back of the board if he wants. That's not my.
Oh dear.
What are you taking, Tassie?
Well, so as Matt alluded to earlier, I've gone through many iterations of this list. I'm playing Trident Realms, mostly because of the hobby side of things, but to make it even harder, I didn't want to take any allies at all, which this list really, really needs. Like, it's one of those lists, sort of like Orcs, that does some things really, really well, but other things not at all. And in this case, it has no flying and not much in the way of piercing shooting apart from the 1 war machines that it has. So my list at the moment is, I'll just open it up here. I'm going to take a horde of Naiad and Snarers. So they're the guys with Snare and Regen 4, which is a lot of fun. The Naiad Worm Riders, probably with Blessing of the Gods, so giving them elite. Depth Horrors, they're like a glass hammer melee thing.
Melee 3, defense 3.
Yeah, crushing 1. But they have Ensnare, so if they get them in difficult terrain, they can be very annoying. But yeah, I mean, they're 18 attacks and they're 185 points, so I'm quite a fan of them, but they do get shot to bits. So I'm hoping, Matt, if you could arrange that I don't face any elves, that would be really good.
No, you'll just end up with facing the dwarf.
Now you're just going to get all elves.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I'll bring, so I've got my three hordes there. Then I'll bring 2 troops of Nokken. They're like they're infantry troops. They've got like breath attack 10, no piercing though, so they're kind of like chaff.
Yeah, melee 6.
Yeah, they're.
So
I
fairly
mean,
cheap.
I've never used them yet. I'm going to experiment with them, but I think I'm going to run them. 2 Leviathan's Banes I'll probably bring. They're the war machine that have like a giant bolt thrower, I guess.
Yep.
Piercing 4 piercing 4, which is nice. Matt's only salty because I played one game against his nature list and I just hammered one of his dragons by crossbow.
No. You took a horde of defense 6 elementals off in one turn.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah,
now. And then I took your dragon out.
It was disgusting. Yeah.
It's like any war machine. When your dice are hot, it's great. And when they're not, it's just so frustrating. Then 2 monsters. I'm bringing a Nuka, which is like a fast sea serpent thing. So it's like a speed 9 but nimble monster. And the Kraken. That's the big Reaper Bones model, which is pretty much, I built this list around that model because I love it so much. Yeah.
And so impressive that you got to get it on the table.
Pretty much. Even though, really, like if I was trying to optimize the list, I'd probably just take a Coal Giant, which is 30 points cheaper and just about as good as far as being an anvil goes. But the thing with the Kraken, and it's hard because ever since I've played with the actual model as opposed to just using like the templates, people shoot at it constantly. Like it's a massive bullet magnet. They just look at it and think, this has to be my priority for all shooting.
It's because it's got so many appendages.
That's true. It has multiple noodly appendages. But yeah, so it's interesting. I wonder, like, because people prioritize it above, its actual threat, I guess. So it doesn't make it into combat that often because people just shoot at it constantly. But anyway, it looks cool. And then I'm bringing the Naiad Wormrider Centurion with Ensorcelled Armor, so Defense 6 Regen 4 is always fun. The Siren, who has that really cool Siren's Call move, which is like a reversed Wind Blast, draws them closer and disorders them. And then the Trident King, who's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. He's got like 12 breath attacks. So, yeah, and very inspiring.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So, yeah, he's very expensive, though. 220 points, but he...
220.
12 attacks, and he's crushing 1, piercing 1, thunderous 1. But it's the very inspiring that's useful for him.
Yep.
You can sort of sit him in the middle of the formation, and he covers most of it. So that's the list I'm thinking of at the moment, but it'll almost certainly change. But yeah, if I was trying to optimize it, I would probably ally in either 2 hordes of ogre boomers and sit them behind the ensnarers and just shoot over the head, or I'd ally in a horde of Elohai and a phoenix just to fly around and never die. But yeah, so my list generally does well against melee armies, so like undead and orcs and things like that. But there's just this one guy locally who plays elves, and he brings 2 hordes of the Sea Guard and then 2 like the Dragon's Breath weapons, and they're like it's like specifically designed to melt lists like mine. He doesn't have much in the way of piercing, but most of my guys are like defense 3. So yeah. Anyway, what about you guys?
You want to go first, Ben?
Well, what I'm taking is my list that I've run a few times because I really like the figures in it, and I've spent a long time trying to get them all multi-based up and look super pretty. I've named it the Abyssal Friends because it's Abyssal Dwarfs with Abyss allies because they're friends. So it is made up of a troop of slave orcs and 2 troops of gargoyles. Then we've got a horde of lesser obsidian golems, a regiment of abyssal half-breeds, and they've got the Pathfinder item, a horde of grotesques with Brew of Haste. Not sure about that one. I keep changing the items up on these guys because I'm never comfortable with whatever I give them.
What's their movement naked?
Maybe it's because 7.
Yeah, okay.
It depends. Do you do the Cube of Death thing that Tim Neal did, or
no?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. 2 Dragonfire teams after that. Then I've got the Abyssal Half-Breed Champion with Quicksilver Rapier. That's my standard setup for that guy. Good for hunting small things. The
180, like the 360-degree threat range on those things is so annoying.
Yeah.
They just, you can't hide from them, and they come at you, and they reliably put like 3 or 4 wounds on. Ugh.
And with the Quicksilver Rapier, any individual is hitting on 2s with Crushing 3, so that's a good way to take out those small fellas. Yeah. So Ironcaster, he's got Lightning Bolt 3, Surge 8, and the Inspiring Talisman, because there's not a lot of Inspiring so far. Another one of my favourites is Bassi, the Vile, and a Greater Obsidian Golem. And as for the allies, I've just got a regiment of Flamebearers and an Ifrit. I'm thinking it was either an Ifrit or the Archfiend, because I've got a really cool looking model for that one that I modelled up years ago, but don't often get to see on the table. So that's what it is at the moment. There's like that and something else that's slightly changed. So one of two lists that look very similar.
How does that
Sure what I
list
wanna do.
normally run for you?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's fairly balanced. It doesn't have a lot of shooting, but it's got enough to do some damage on units, and it's fairly fast.
Well, I guess
as
your
well.
shooting is all the breath weapons. Like there's a closer range shooting, isn't it? Well, your flame bearers,
and
they're the bolt
Flame
throwers,
bearers and
so-
lightning bolt helps as well.
Yeah.
Then you've got the little torpedoes of the Harpy Champion and Basusu
Ugh, yes.
as well.
Basusu, the extremely irritating.
No, Bassi Boo's the best. But that's what we're sitting at the moment. And just reading it, I've realised I've painted the wrong things. So I've got to work on painting some more stuff.
Don't worry, mate. 2 months to go.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Bust it out. And then I've got the display board to do as well. Should be
Yeah,
right.
nice. Do you have any ideas for your display board? Are you going to go like your infernal theme types theme?
Well, I've multi-based them all with the snow theme because I've kind of got the small story of the dwarves headed north to look for more slaves and monsters to bring back. So it's kind of like an expedition.
Nice.
So they're kind of marching out north to see what
I
they
love
can
a bit of
catch.
fluff. I
and
love a
bring
bit
back.
of fluff.
Mm. And if you've got a story, it makes things easier to model.
Yeah, it really does. For my Kingdoms of Men League of Rortier army, I wrote up a big backstory. Way too much backstory. I named all of the characters and broke down the city that they're all from and the individual districts of the city which supplied the individual units and all this sort of stuff. And the
Right.
army is absolutely pants, but I wrote all this stuff.
Yeah,
for it, so-
didn't help him on the table.
No, it really didn't.
Well, they went down in style, I guess.
Yeah, they looked good. Well, everyone made
Yeah.
fun of them.
They were better on parade. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Spoony?
One day, actually, no, I have beaten you once, Matt. So eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
I will most likely be taking my Abyss, will depend on what I get done. I've got a couple of things I want to finish for the second list that I haven't really confirmed yet. But my first one will be something similar to Convict. So I've got a regiment of Flame Bearers with Jar of the Four Winds, so extra range on those. Horde of Lower Abyssals, Brew of Strength. A horde of Tortured Souls, they're naked. A regiment of Horsemen with Caterpillar Potion. 2 troops of Hellhounds. 2 Afrits, one with
Nice.
Inspiring, one with, I think it's Boots of Levitation. Is that the one that
Levitation.
march and shoot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and march and shoot. Gosh.
And yeah, then I've got the Archfiend, which is she's flying, has lightning 5 and 6 up defense. And I've got a unit of allied Night Stalkers. I've got a horde of fiends. So that's my first list.
Didn't know you were so filthy, Spoon.
The Night Stalker,
help me.
the Night Stalker fiends.
I still managed
Just
to screw it
joking.
up.
Yeah.
The Night Stalker fiends are good allies because you don't need to inspire them. It's
That's it.
really useful out on a flank.
They're so quick.
And they're so good, so fast, and lots of attacks.
I
Yeah.
remember the first time Richard Fewed, I don't know if you've played him. He's a Sydney player who travels down to Canberra as well. The first time I played Night Stalkers and he hit me with them and I was just like, how many attacks they got? Because I was expecting, like 18 or so, and then 24. And it's just like, this is rude.
Yep.
But he also has,
Nasty.
he likes to do the Legion of Bloodworms with the Crystal Pendant of Retribution.
Yes, the best item in the game.
Well, I was wondering if you were going to put it on anything.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a second list in mind, which was I was going to go down the Succubi path. 3 units of Succubi. It'd be similar to, I think it was Ken or Evan Ferris's Masters list. But I was going to use one of the Living Legends, Lord of Lies, as my character rather than an Archfiend.
Oh, yeah.
But I hadn't.
So that's the
worked
one
all
with
out.
the extra lightning bolt, isn't it?
Yeah, he's lightning 7.
Yeesh. Yeah.
And the nerve is a bit
Ensnare
different.
is a really good rule. If you can get into melee, it is just a lot of fun. especially for the guys who hit on 4s normally. When they have to do like a hindered and ensnared charge, and then all of a sudden they're just going nowhere.
The question is, have you got enough lady models anyway, Spoon?
Yeah, I've got 3 regiments already painted.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. You set.
Yeah, it's just working out how to fit everything else in that I want to fit in, like the Cronius and the E3 and everything else. 2,000
points is tough, hey?
Yeah, it is. Everything's pretty expensive in the Abyssal list, I find, unless you're going to take the shitty troops that I don't really like taking or haven't taken and refuse to paint.
So it's hard to get a lot of dudes in an elite army is what you're saying?
Yes, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
But are Abyssals really an elite army?
It is if you take all the expensive stuff, like any other army, I guess.
True.
I just don't want to paint more guys. I want to move on.
Right. More the point.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to discuss while we're here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think you briefly touched on terrain. I don't think we actually talked about it, though, did we?
No.
Did we talk about the terrain?
Go for it if you like.
Look, it's all in the pack, but basically we're using the 12 terrain maps from the Mantic Forum, and we've standardised the heights. So have a look at those in the pack. So that give you a pretty good idea of anyone that wanted to actually practice. But yeah, we're basically going to have the standard maps. So there's 12 maps, which means I guess the tables get repeated twice, but the chances are, or a couple of times, but the chances are that you playing on the same table, the chance is quite low, and they're relatively representative. Obviously, everyone that's donating terrain, so there's plenty of people that are giving us heaps of help from the Queenslanders. Ken and his lot up there are bringing some tables. Drew's donating a bunch of tables. Michael Clark from Sydney's bringing a bunch of tables. Like, they'll all have their own collections, obviously, but the maps give you a pretty good idea of how it's going to be laid out, and they'll be on the table as well, laminated on the table. But yeah, the heights are all standardised, so have a look at the pack. But I just wanted to mention that that's all in there now in the latest update.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you just want to go over just quickly once more, where do people sign up? Where do you get all the information?
Oh yeah, isn't that a palaver? Okay, so it's the CoK website. It's a little bit complicated to get there, so you have to go to the CanCon website. Actually, there's a link on our website, clashofkingsau.com. But otherwise, if you go to the CanCon website, you can go to CanCon 2017. Then you click on tournaments, and then you click on Clash of Kings Australia, and then you click on Festival Director, and then you click on Enter Kings of War, and after that you can check out.
Yeah.
So just a paltry 5 or 6 steps before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So probably
the website is cgs.asn.au/CanCon. Start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have details in our show notes as well.
Awesome.
Cool. We'll leave it at that then, I think.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Oh, thanks for having us on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on.
No worries.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for your time.
And I guess we'll speak to you soon, and we'll see you in Canberra, and hopefully we'll see a few more sign-ups as well.
Yeah. And for a good Saturday night. Otherwise, Spoon will lampoon us. Yeah.
There will be
beers and karaoke.
All right. Okay. Thanks, lads.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, direct misfire blowing up the game. Talking many war games is our aim. From rulebooks to advice, we cover it all. With the best tactics, we never fall. Bensome and Spoon are your hosts every vid. Misfiring, but aiming up ahead. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date. Come check us out at facebook.com/directmisfire or shoot us over an email at directmisfire@gmail.com.